Hello, good day, and welcome back, you fluffy little ferrets. My name is Miko, this is Backseat Fighters, and today we're going to have a quick look at UFC 310. Ooh, and then a sting. We don't have a sting, we should have like a sting. Alright, so UFC 310 is coming up on the 7th of December, and it is headlined by Pantoja versus Asakura. Now, if you don't know those names, don't worry. It is in the flyweight division, which is notoriously under-promoted. Pantoja's not much of a big talker, and Asakura, this is his debut fight in the UFC. He's new. So don't worry if you don't know, that's fine. He's the new kid in school. Of course, every new kid in school has come from another school, and at that school, he kicked a lot of people in the face. But we'll get to that. The question is, why should you care? And I got a bunch of good reasons to get hyped for this card. But the headline is that this card might sneakily be one of the best cards of the year. I'm deadly serious. So I already mentioned that Kai Asakura is coming in to fight for the flyweight title in his debut, which is nuts. But a bonus little headline for you. We've got two undefeated fighters in the co-main, Shavkat Rakhmonov versus Ian Garry, and that, oh, I'm so excited. But you know the deal. We are here to give you the most info in the shortest amount of time without being a fucking dork about it. So we'll tell you some of the notable names on the cards, quickly break down a couple of notable fights. Of course, you'll have my 50p bets. We'll talk some nicknames. So hold on to your butt, because the butt thief's coming. He's not. He's probably not. I like to say that to scare people. So as far as names that your level 1 casual might know, not a lot, actually. Maybe Ian Garry or Aljo. So sorry, level 1s, but this looks like it might be the card for you to graduate to level 2. Because level 2 fans are going to know a whole bunch of names on this card. You've got Shavkat, Anthony Lionheart Smith, Cyril Gane, Clay the Carpenter Guida. I can't believe he's still fighting. Sorry for spoiling some of the nickname talk for later. I got excited. Now, your level 3 friends, they're going to spend most of the night just talking about how Doo-ho Choi is returning from compulsory military service in Korea. And if they're not talking about that, they'll be saying how Dominic Reyes actually beat John Jones, if you were watching, which he didn't. I was, and he didn't. Sorry.
No, you're not!
So the point is, the entire card, prelims, early prelims, is full of recognizable names, which means it's going to be a pretty hard card for Jordy, the editor, to be wanky about knowing all the people on the undercard. But hey, if there was ever a man I had faith in to find a way to be a wank, it was this guy. I was actually thinking about Jordy earlier because my facial hair is too long right now. I want to cut it because I ate a Tunnix tea cake. Yum, yum, yum. And a bit got cut in that bit. And I was, yeah. But then he's way hairier than I am. Jordy looks like if Cousin It from Addams Family was getting a makeover, but then there was like a fire halfway through or something. So it's like a in-process photo. So yeah, like I say, this card is quietly stacked. So let's start with the oldest man in the entire world fighting the youngest wee curly-haired laddie in the UFC. That's right, Clay Guida is fighting Chase Hooper. Now, Chase is very, very good. He kind of represents this new generation coming through, and his grappling is elite, but his striking is inspiring. And by inspiring, I mean like in a good job on trying your best kind of way. Clay, on the other hand, is roughly 400 years old at this point, but he is a relentless forward pressure, and I see that being a bit too much for Chase's inexperience. So I've got 50p on Violent Jesus via TKO. And next up, we've got Randy Brown versus Brian Battle, aka Baza Battles. No one calls him that. It's just me and my friends. I should really stop doing these in-joke nicknames, shouldn't I? So Root Boy Randy Brown is actually on quite a run. He's 6-1 in his last 7. His only loss came to Jack Della Maddalena. That's the kind of name you give to your character when you're coming up on a deadline and you're all jacked up on orange juice. Now, Baza Battles has been a favorite of ours at Backseat Fighters ever since Tough. He is also 6-1 in his last 7, which is fun. That's nice, isn't it? And now he's a lot less experienced than Randy Brown, but at 34 in a lighter weight class, Randy Brown is a lot less, able to get out of a chair without making a noise. My head says Randy Brown gets the decision, but my heart says Brian Battles gets it in round 3. And my heart's 50p, by the way. Another interesting fight, the former bantamweight champion Aljamain Sterling, he's moving up to featherweight, and someone at the UFC head office does not like this man. He is facing undefeated monster Movsar Evloev. Movsar Evloev. Evloev is 18-0, which is nuts in the UFC, and even more insane when you consider he's not the only one on this same card with that record. This is absolutely the toughest fight with the lowest name value available for Aljo, and I think that's cruel. I'd love Aljo to get the win here, and while the most obvious answer is a stifling, boring, but dominant win for Evloev. I'm going to go Funkmaster. 50p on the Funkmaster by submission. Honestly, there's so much on this card I'd like to talk about, but let's just jump straight to the co-main event because it is late and I am loud. Ian Garry versus Shavkat Rakhmonov. I have been hyped for this potential fight for about 2 years. So Ian Garry, who has different nicknames depending on where you look online, Ian Machado Garry, Ian the Future Garry, or Ian Lil Cuck Boy Connor cosplaying Snap Crackle and Cunt Garry. I like Ian Garry. I do, but many others do not. But whether you like him or not, the man is 15-0 and he stepped up on short notice to fight maybe the most feared man in the entire company, Shavkat Rakhmonov. Shavkat is 18-0, but Shavkat is 18-0 with 18 finishes. Did you hear me? A 100% finish rate is absurd, and he's well-rounded. He's got 10 submissions and 8 cockouts. 10 submissions and 8 knockouts. Shavkat becoming the champion has kind of seemed like an inevitability for a long time now, but Ian Garry's rangy, patient, and technical striking, it could pose an interesting challenge and puzzle for Shavkat. I wouldn't be shocked if Ian Garry got the win, and the hate he'd get, well, that would be entertaining, even if his victory wasn't. But honestly, I can't see anyone beating Shavkat anytime soon. 50p on Cultural Learning Shavkat via submission. And finally, we've got the UFC flyweight title, Pantoja versus Asakura. Now, as mentioned, Kai is fighting for the belt in his debut, which is not something the company normally does, so this is pretty special. Now, it's partly because he has a really good resume, but it's also partly because that division needs some life injected into it. The two guys who have kept this division alive for the last several years, Moreno just lost to Pantoja, and Figueiredo has moved up to bantamweight, and editor, could you put up an image just sort of showing how that's going, please? Sorry, that was mean. Respect to Figgy. He's doing well. He's doing his thing. And he hung in there with Peter Yan, who looked like a monster. Anyway, that's not what this is about. Now, if you've seen Pantoja fight before, you know that he is a well-rounded, fast-paced, exciting fighter. So the only real question is, how good is Kai? So I wasn't super familiar with Kai Asakura. Did a bit of research. He grew up training in karate, sumo, and boxing. That's a fun little combo there. I actually got quite excited looking into this guy. So I'm probably going to do a little mini vid, a short, a tickety-tockety kind of thing. It's like a hyper ultra fast intro to who he is. Now, I could tell you that he's beaten some impressive names like Kyoji Horiguchi, but if you know to be impressed by that, then you know who Kyoji is, so you probably know who Asakura is. So like, what are we doing here? Come on, boys, come on. More importantly, he also fought a guy called Top Noi Tiger Mai Tai. That's his name. That sounds like a building more than a person. Anyway, by this point, I'm so deep in the rabbit hole that the 7 of clubs is winking at me. So back to UFC 310. Now, I would love for Kai to shake up the division by just strolling into his new job, pouring coffee on the printer, slapping his boss, and claiming his office for his own. But I don't see it happening. Kai Asakura is definitely a deadly and rangy striker, but I think if he can't get this done in the first round, I think it's going Pantoja's way. I think his cardio and his experience is going to edge it out. 50p on Pantoja, round 4. All right, that's the face. Time for some nicknames. Hey! So the worst nicknames. Cody Custom Made Durden. That's pretty terrible. We talked before about the All-American Chris Weidman, but the worst one here, I think, is worse than that. It's Nate the Train Landwehr. I think that's dreadful. But honestly, there's some bangers here as well. Maverick, The Carpenter, Lionheart, Nomad, Funkmaster. I'll give a runner-up to Bryce Mitchell for Thug Nasty. He's a strange dude, but that's a rad nickname. And the award for the best nickname on this card, though, has to go to Eric, ya boy, Anders. Congratulations to him and his family on this special moment. So please tell us your predictions in the comments. Press all of the magic YouTube buttons. We really do appreciate it. And come on back next time. We'd love to see you again. All right, bedtime. I've been Miko. You've been Yuko. Ta-ra, you lovely little biscuits.